Hello, I'm Tomayak. This is probably my first video, and it's first video that's going to be completely unscripted because I feel like this is something that I just have to talk about because I find this absolutely hilarious. That Cyberpunk 2077, the most anticipated game of the decade, should I say, has finally been released. Now, in terms of content with the game, it's been great so far. Ripping around Night City on a motorbike with all the scenery, all the quests, everything to do in the city. It's full of life. There's so much to do, so much content. I'm about 25 hours in already, and I've barely scratched the surface of what I can do. But that's not where this rant's coming from today. This rant's coming from how completely unfinished this game is. Not in terms of content, like they've got the base content down to a T, that is fine. But it's down to the bugs and the PR disaster that they've had lately. So, for those who have been living under a rock lately, PlayStation have officially delisted Cyberpunk 2077 from the PlayStation Store due to its absolute disgrace of a launch. This is due to complete performance issues, complete bugs, complete game-breaking glitches. It's been an absolute nightmare for CD Projekt Red. And this is a company that loads of people have had faith in. After the massive success of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which is probably still one of the best single player games of all times. I do highly recommend that you play that game, by the way. It's very fucking good. And they've now come out with this. And it's very amusing to watch, but also very frightening at the same time, because this company has been crunching to all hell to try and get this game out for its release window. After being delayed 3-4 times, being in development for 8 years, it's been very tough. And it is worrying for a lot of people, because this is not acceptable, to say the least. This is not tolerable. Now, I play on PC personally, so I haven't experienced as many bugs as the console versions. Obviously, the bugs are still there. Every game will have bugs. I'm willing to accept that. Some bugs are a bit random and out of place. Some of them don't really add up to what I expect from a title of this caliber. But the optimization's completely out the window. The current gen consoles clearly are not cut out to run this game. But that's a weird thing saying that, because just a year before, Ghost of Tsushima had been released for the PlayStation 4, and this run like absolute butter on there. The game looks gorgeous. It's full of content. There's barely any glitches apart from a few cosmetic ones. But so it's weird how it went from that beautiful, stunning game to this complete unfinished turd. So, I feel like this is just something I should rant about because I do find it very funny. Microsoft are yet to respond to this. They've just put up a performance warning for people who are just about to buy the game. So, they do have a disclaimer there. But they have yet to take action against it as far as Sony has when it comes to delisting it from their store. And for the Google Stadia, we haven't heard anything about it because nobody actually bought the Google Stadia. It's also been very shady as well how before the game was released, they started giving out review copies of the game, but they completely disregarded the console version. So I do have a feeling that they did know that the console version was completely unfinished, but they needed to release it at the same time to avoid spoilers. That is what their design philosophy was. I have been following them on that. So that is it's not looking good for them, to say the least. It's really all over the place. The devs are very angry with the mismanagement from CD Projekt Red. They've been crunched all year to try and get this game done, and it clearly wasn't finished. The developers knew this game wasn't finished, so the developers are not at fault here, and I'm not blaming the developers for that because they have a fantastic game on their hands here, but it's a game that requires a lot of tidying up. It's like going into a kindergarten or something, and everything's just an entire mess. These kids have a bright future, most of them. Some of them are absolute little shits, but it's just a complete mess. So it really is a dark future for Cyberpunk 2077, isn't it? So I will be keeping updated on this through my Twitch and my Twitter as well. That is a very shameless plug, I know. But I feel like this is just something that needs to be brought up because it's absolutely hilarious. This was just my rant on the current state of Cyberpunk anyway. If you agree, leave a like. If you disagree, leave a dislike. I won't be offended either way. And until next time, adios.